Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the question, could we see some of these IRS agents perhaps being retasked over here to Thailand to maybe deal with some of the fake foreign lawyers, quote unquote, that are gumming up our immigration system by basically just existing and scamming everyone? I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from the AP, that's apnews.com. Article is titled, "The IRS is drafting plans to cut as much as half of its 90,000 person workforce," AP sources say. Quoting directly, "The IRS is drafting plans to cut its workforce by as much as half through a mix of layoffs, attrition, and incentivized buyouts," according to two people familiar with the situation. The layoffs are part of the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the size of the federal workforce through billionaire Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. I love how nobody ever called anybody that were the oligarchic sort of unduly influencers on the past administration. They never put the moniker billionaire constantly in front of their names. Just FYI. And by the way, I'm not saying Elon is the greatest thing in the world, but we also had to deal with a whole bunch of crazy elites for the last 4 years. Nobody ever says that about Bill Gates, yet Bill Gates runs around telling us all kinds of crazy stuff like eating bugs or whatever. That said, quoting further, "Laying off nearly all probationary employees who have not yet gained civil service protection and offering buyouts to almost all federal employees through a, quote, deferred resignation program, unquote, to quickly reduce the government workforce. A reduction in force of tens of thousands of employees would render the IRS, quote unquote, dysfunctional," said John Koskinen, a former IRS commissioner. Oh my God, wouldn't want that, wouldn't want the thing dysfunctional. Quoting further, and as they brought up in a bunch of stuff, that, including in one great clip, I'll try to find it, put it in the description, where this woman asked the guy that was supposedly the head of Biden's economic team why we need to pay taxes when we just print money, and then the guy couldn't even explain how money or our treasury system worked. I mean, it was ridiculous. Quoting further, already roughly 7,000 probationary IRS employees with roughly 1 year or less of service were laid off from the organization in February. Yeah, so as explained in another video, there have been a number of layoffs, 7,000 in fact. It looks like they're setting up the stage for another 45,000 in layoffs. Frankly, I would love to see the IRS just abolished. We'd be done with it. Frankly, you can get rid of the income tax as far as I'm concerned too. It's completely antithetical to the original drafting of the Constitution. If you look at the actual history of the act, what they said it was going to be was a totally different thing, but that's always the case. They want to get the camel's nose under the tent, as it were. That said, quoting further, and directly to the issue of immigration, quoting directly, "In addition to the planned layoffs, the Trump administration intends to lend IRS workers to the Department of Homeland Security to assist with immigration enforcement." In a letter sent in February, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem asked Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to borrow IRS workers to help with ongoing immigration crackdown efforts. Good. We can use one problem to sort another. We can take all these IRS agents, and now they can go after all the fake lawyers, because they're all over the place. And in South America, they call them notarios, but over here, they're just completely fraud lawyers. I've done the videos on them. Brian Wright's a perfect example. Dennis Ram's a perfect example. Total frauds, complete frauds, have been completely operating in violation of 8 CFR 292.1 for years. They've set up organizations to masquerade as law firms. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. And these are the resources we need to stop it. Take these IRS agents, loan them over to DHS, have Ms. Noem go ahead and direct them to going after all of these fake lawyers that help all of these people invade our country. Why is this so difficult? The law is there, it's clear. Why can we not do anything about this? I'm hoping this will change. I'm very hopeful that as this administration proceeds, we will see something done about fake lawyers, especially fake American lawyers in the American immigration context.